Check it out. This video is about a clip where No Jumper host Adam22 destroys YouTuber China Mac with this new and shocking information. This information presented by Adam22 is so shocking that China Mac should be like his old gang, the Ghost Shadows, where China Mac should be like a ghost and disappear back in the shadows.
On Google, watch this.
Okay, can I hit y'all with a truth bomb?
What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
I got a little story to tell that I've never had the opportunity to tell on camera before. And you know when you got like a real good story or something that you know about, but you have reasons to not take that story and expose it to the public, but then things happen that basically allow you to feel comfortable exposing that story to the public.
What's going on?
It's one of those days.
Get it off your chest.
So there was this whole thing on the Whack and Adam podcast, the Adam and Whack show, where we talked about the Crip Mac thing. And I basically complained about the fact that China Mac had asked me to go to a bail hearing the day before. I said that I couldn't do it because I would have had to cancel 4 interviews, two of which had flown into town to do the interview. I said, and I told China Mac at the time, give me a little bit more time, a little bit more notification. You as his manager should probably not be telling people like literally at 9 p.m. the night before about this sort of thing, right? And so me and Wack have this whole back and forth about it. And then China Mac, because he has absolutely nothing going on in his life, he's just like relentlessly clout chasing about this. He's doing a whole press tour, doing interviews. He's making multiple YouTube videos, trying to pay his rent. The whole thing is super fucking embarrassing because at the end of the day, I'm the person who actually has been paying Crip Mac for all these years. I'm the person who already had sent him money and put money on his books before any of this stupid fucking argument even popped off. China Mac is a person who literally his entire way of earning money up until the moment that Crip Mac got locked up was taking a percentage of the money that me and other people would give to Crip Mac. He's literally a leech who was just feeding off of the Crip Mac show. I'm the opposite. I'm somebody who was enriching him and giving him money, who was getting hit up by him constantly to do business, to do content, whatever. Anyway, China Mac likes to put himself out there as if he's this really real person.
Wow, did you hear that bomb dropped by Adam22? Apparently, Adam claims that China Mac takes a percentage from Crip Mac's earnings, which makes it seem like China Mac is, what, Crip Mac's manager. No wonder China Mac is so worried about Crip Mac in jail, because Crip Mac in jail means Crip Mac can't make money, and that means less money for China Mac. Very devious from China Mac indeed. In fact, that's probably, now you wonder why. How is he able to start spending random money on what, like Bape? I think that's an expensive clothing brand. Things like Amiri, right? He got more money in his pocket. He wants to look very luxuriously, right? It's a little bit crazy, but wait. It gets crazier because Adam starts to reveal and expose why the relationship between China Mac and YouTuber Vlad TV has gone sour.
So let's talk about why China Mac's relationship with Vlad TV went sour. So people will remember that China Mac was essentially a nobody. He was just some guy who was in prison up until the point that he did a Vlad TV interview, and he went viral the first time he did it. Vlad brought him back a whole bunch of different times. And so the most recent time, I think it was about 1.5 years ago, that China Mac appeared on Vlad TV. I watched a few of the clips, and I noticed today when I was searching on YouTube that a lot of them have like 600,000-700,000 views, right? And the gist of that interview is that he went on there and he told Vlad all about his fight with AD. And I'm sorry to AD because I don't want to throw AD in this. Me and AD are maybe allegedly on better terms than we were a few weeks ago. But unfortunately, AD is going to essentially have to catch some strays as a result of this. So I get done watching some of the interview clips, and it's just hilarious to me because he's sitting there stone-faced lying to Vlad. And Vlad is heaping praise upon him and telling China Mac how he thinks it's so mannish and grown up that China Mac was willing to go and shoot the fade with AD in a parking lot, and that the video never came out, and how much he respected it. I assume that you guys probably know where this is going.
I know exactly.
Obviously, this fight was not real. And anyone who was in the No Jumper group chat at the time can confirm. And nobody's going to go on record and say that that shit was real, because we all know that it was fake. I text Vlad after the fucking final clip rolls, and I say to Vlad, I'm like, Vlad, I can't believe you let this motherfucker go up there and lie to you like that. Boom, Vlad calls me. Vlad says, what are you talking about? And he like doesn't want to believe it because Vlad, you know, he does these interviews, he does this content, and he doesn't really feel like people are so sinister that they're going to go on there and just lie and troll to his face. And I know for a fact that Vlad doesn't appreciate that shit. So Vlad starts asking me all these questions. I explained to him how the whole thing was a work, and Vlad is fucking pissed. And I didn't find this out until much, much later, but Vlad instantly, as soon as we get off the phone, calls China Mac and confronts him about it because he's fucking pissed off that China Mac went on there and just basically fed a whole story to him. So what I actually need the people out there to do is to go and watch those interview clips in which China Mac is sitting there just blatantly lying and accepting praise for a fake fight that was a total fucking skit. And I feel like a lot of those clips are going to be seen in a completely different light at this point. But that shit happened, and as a result, you haven't seen China Mac anywhere near the Vlad platform ever since, right? So I say all that to say that right now, I am being attacked by someone, and it's always this weird asymmetry when you're getting attacked by somebody who knows everything about you because they're a religious watcher of your content versus me, where I have almost nothing to say about him because I've never really watched any serious amount of China Mac content. Like all I know is the information that I've sort of fallen ass backwards into obtaining. But this is a guy who's out here acting like he's the real, like he's a gangster, like he did all this prison time and he's so tough and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, you faked a fucking fight and you dragged real LA gang members into it. And countless people out there have made YouTube content where they basically attempted to, comment on this and praise how manly it was for him to do this sort of thing and to shoot the fade and not have a video come out of it or whatever. I say all that to say, this is the thirstiest dude in the history of communication on the internet.
Wow, did you see that thing dropped by Adam22? Apparently, I guess the China Mac and AD fight you may have seen a couple years, maybe a couple months back, that it was actually fake. Come on, China Mac, just because you have the word China in your name, China Mac, right? We know China is known for fake products. Doesn't mean you, China Mac, should be making fake fights or fake narratives. Like, come on. I think that makes you a piece of trash. People respect honest hustle, not people trying to lie and basically make up things to the top. Like, come on, China Mac, shame on you. However, if you haven't seen the aftermath of the alleged fight between AD and China Mac, check it out right here.
Hey, you good now?
Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, this shit squash?
Yeah.
No, it's one-on-one. It's just squashing right now, homie.
All right, bro, that's it. That was a misunderstanding. We got our shit.
Because he got all his people hitting me up, all your people hitting me up. Come on, man. You guys are both my boys. No more, man. Come on. Promise me.
I said, man, look at this shit. Look, niggas.
Call that one-on-one, just kill it right here. Call that one-on-one, just kill it right there, bro.
It's done. It's good. It's good. Look.
All you gotta do is just pick up your phone call, man. You be ignoring my shit.
Why you ain't answering though, man?
You changed your number, fool. I told you that. Ain't nobody still your idea.
Now that you've seen that video detailing the aftermath of the supposed fight, it kind of makes you question everything China Mac's doing, including this part where Adam22 exposes even more about China Mac regarding himself and a particular person named Ava about starting this type of record label.
And it gets worse because literally yesterday, do you remember this girl, Ava, this trans girl, Flacco, who was on Speed Stream? She was on Aiden Ross, etc. Yeah. This is mind-blowing, and you guys are all going to get to see this when it comes out of the clip in a couple weeks or a week or whatever. I'm sitting there talking to her, and she's talking about something about, people talking shit or people trolling you online, and I just say, yeah, I've been dealing with it today. I got some fucking idiot just trolling the shit out of me or whatever. And she immediately goes, China Mac. And I'm like, oh, she saw it on my story earlier today, whatever. She reveals that right before China Mac started managing Crip Mac, China Mac was trying to start an all trans record label. This is a real thing that she told me. His big plan for how he was going to profit off the culture before the Crip Mac thing, which he ended up resorting to, was to start a trans record label.
TS Records is crazy.
I'm just saying,
Hey,
this is the level of desperation that is oozing out of the shiny-faced pores of somebody like China Mac. It's just fucking sad, and it's desperate. And now you have somebody like me who really has actually invested a lot of money into Crip Mac and has done everything possible for him for all these years. Where did China Mac go? As soon as Crip Mac caught this case, China Mac was out of here. He has no reason to be in California. He fled back to the East Coast as soon as Crip Mac caught this case. And now he's out here virtue signaling and trying to act like he's ever done something for Crip Mac. You have never done anything for Crip Mac aside from stand next to him in some fucking vlogs, which, by the way, my boy Remo is the one who thought up the concepts for every single episode of Mac Ventures, and he's not involved anymore because, once again, China Mac is a scammer and didn't ever pay him the money that he was supposed to get paid, which was also the story that Ava, the trans girl from the China Mac record label, told me, is that part of the reason why her relationship fell out with China Mac was because of the fact that he didn't pay the video director and all these other people that were doing business for this trans woman. So I say all that to say, dude is a scammer, dude is a fake gangster, and dude is virtue signaling off of claiming to have helped Crip Mac when in reality, he never did anything for him besides take his 20% and keep it moving. And he wasn't even able to get Crip Mac move it in such a way that he wouldn't end up back in federal prison because, as we all know, he has now caught a case as a result of the fact that China Mac and other people in his life were not around.
Talk about desperation. I mean, China Mac, you're trying to start up that type of record label. How about you be successful yourself, being able to push a few records, right? Usually people who are successful in recording records or they got a history in the music industry, then they do a record label. So I think China Mac, I understand you got this crazy idea you were trying to do with Ava. Maybe you got to start succeeding step 1 first before you try to go to step 10. But then we got to call out China Mac. Come on. You're not paying people for their work? You heard what Adam22 said. Apparently, one of No Jumper's employees, Rimo, was busy detailing, I think, producing a lot of these episodes, right? The storyline, how it goes for the Mac Ventures YouTube channel, which is, right, features China Mac and Crip Mac. But then China Mac wouldn't pay Rimo for that work, so then Rimo started to not work with him anymore. Okay, that's pretty trashy. I mean, you got to pay people for their work, but then I get it. You use until you use, right? That's the hustler mentality. You're trying to basically, what? Think short-term, not long-term. And even you working with this individual named Ava for your particular label idea, and you don't pay that person? Okay, whatever. You know, to be honest, it's like, get it how you live it, but come on. You got to think long-term, China Mac. But then again, he probably doesn't have much long as he feels, right? Isn't this guy like 40 plus, 50 plus? You know, we really don't want to see 60-year-old rappers, right? The only time you see 60-year-old rappers if it's like a gimmick, right? I think on World Star or certain websites, they would have like these really retired people rapping violent lyrics, and except they have like an English or a British accent. So it's a little gimmicky, right? You just want to see like a car crash. But do people want to see car crashes every day? I don't know. That could be a question for yourself. But wait, Adam22 exposes China Mac even more when he reveals that both China Mac and Crip Mac had a huge falling out.
And keep in mind, too, that China Mac and Crip Mac had a huge falling out like 2 weeks before he got arrested, which is why China Mac took such offense to it when I put out that clip of Crip Mac talking about them falling out or whatever. The whole thing, the reason why he didn't like that being exposed to the people was because of the fact that that was a real thing, that they actually were beefing. And the only reason why they're back on good terms now is because of the fact that Crip Mac got locked up and Crip Mac needs all the help he could get. Crip Mac was completely ready to leave China Mac in the past. And when you look at a lot of the other people like Lupe, who I'm going to have on the podcast tomorrow so we can talk more about this, none of these people think that China Mac has actually been a good or positive influence in Crip Mac's lifestyle. He's just another leech that came along and tried to get something out of Crip Mac. And now, as impossible as it is to believe, he's on my ass because he's trying to project away the fact that I'm someone who actually has done things for Crip Mac and helped him and tried to work with him and tried to put him into better situations, not just taking from him like you, China Mac, you fucking villain. So I just wanted to come on here to make that perfectly clear and to expose the fact that China Mac lied about this infamous fight and then went on Vlad TV as well as many other podcasts. And I really need help from the community of going back and finding these clips and clipping them, because this is some of the funniest shit that has ever happened. Just the fact that he's so addicted to clout that he was willing to make up this bizarre narrative like that.
Hey, what do you say? Not all that glitters is gold. I knew there was something wrong in that China Mac, Crip Mac relationships. The fact they had a falling out, the fact there were cracks in the relationship. I'm not surprised because let's be honest. We need Crip Mac to entertain us, not China Mac, right? China Mac's always been somebody who needed other people to help him to boost up his career. Like, let's look at Mac Eats. Why do we watch Mac Eats? Is it because of China Mac or is it because of the surrounding people? It's the surrounding people. It doesn't really matter if it's a China Mac or anyone else. We just need the surrounding people to make the content. Same thing with Mac Ventures TV. China Mac is just there. Crip Mac is really the star of the show. People want to see Crip Mac do whatever he needs to do, so people tune in. Because look at it. China Mac tried to do his own performance recently, whereas it was just China Mac doing the songs and nobody was in attendance. I guess China Mac is trying to be like an opener, meaning there was nobody in the area, just open area. Wow, that is quite the attendance. In fact, that's probably the highest attended concert from a China Mac. Hey, it kind of sucks, right? People like you online doesn't mean they want to watch you offline, because think about it. People resonate toward the China Mac story, not necessarily towards the China Mac music. When's the last time you've heard someone say, hey, let me bump that new China Mac? Never. In fact, China Mac looked like one of those openers to a main event. When people go to a concert headlined by the main event, who do people want to see? The main event. Don't nobody care about the opener? Everyone's saying, you know what? Can't we just skip the opener till we see the main event? So that's what China Mac is, right? An opener, except this time we see a lot of open seats. I think China Mac is more hustling backwards, if you know what I mean. However, Adam22 goes off on China Mac even more, mostly about the 24-hour appearance China Mac presented to Adam22.
I have a question for the room.
Hit me.
That's a bomb.
So, and it's China Mac excluded because I don't know China Mac. When you guys first saw the clip from the Adam and Wax show and the Twitter discourse, I don't know if you guys be on Twitter. I be on Twitter. So I saw the Twitter. I saw the Twitter discourse. Everybody going up on Adam. Were you guys even surprised by the clip? Like, my whole retort was, why are you guys surprised? Like, if something was to happen to me legally, and I'm getting to my question, if something was to happen to me, I don't think that on short notice, I'm not looking on short notice for Adam to show up to my court or bail hearing on short notice. Are you guys looking to Adam to show up to your court or bail hearing on short notice?
Last night. Now, if we give a nigga like 72 hours, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You said 24 hours, right?
And that's the thing that offended me and pissed me off about the way that this all played out on social media, is that people are putting it out there as if I had no interest in going there, when in reality, even before China Mac started talking about me, Lupe had asked me, she's like, yo, so can we actually find a date for his next bail hearing so that you and Wack, who is somebody that doesn't even fuck with Crip Mac, that has basically stated that they need to get down at times in recent memory, we both made it clear that we would do it. I just told China Mac, I'm not doing it on 24 hours notice, because I literally have people who flew in to do interviews with me tomorrow. And I also like how people are acting like this would be some short fucking thing. Like, this would take many, many hours and it would fuck up all my other interviews. It's not, never once did I say, hey, I'm not down to show up to court for him. I just said, if you want me to do this, be professional and let me know with a significant amount of time. So again, he's putting it on me and it's on him.
Hey, I'm not surprised that China Mac put that 24-hour or that short notice to Adam22, because China Mac is desperate. He's trying to do whatever he can to feel like he can put himself into the situation. But wasn't it that the Crip Mac situation was being taken care of by Crip Mac's friend Lupe and Adam22? So China Mac suddenly wants himself involved. Like, bro, you're not invited to the party. Why are you coming to the party? Like, come on. You're not on the guest. Get out of the party, right? The ship has already sailed. So come on, China Mac. Use your brain for once. That is, if you actually have one that's remaining.
Remember, like he said, like you should have sent like an employee perfectly white. And I was saying, even if Adam would have asked the employees, I wouldn't have done it. Right? Like,
you wouldn't have went to the court hearing if he had asked you?
the fuck am I going? But
you're not.
Listen, if I'm Adam, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
Bro, I have a wife, a kid.
What the fuck do I look like?
The fuck am I going?
You're not required.
I agree with that, but I still would have done it, even though, in that same video where China Mac is calling me out, he acknowledges and admits in that same video, and I do not know why he would acknowledge this in the same video, that if I had gone, it would have gone the exact same way, because he's facing very, very serious charges, and one character witness, not to mention a porn star with a bunch of tattoos all over his face, showing up at the courtroom and saying, hey, he's a good guy, he does interviews with me every 2 weeks or whatever, would not really have moved the needle on how all this shit is going to proceed. Now, that being said, I still would have gone. It's just that China Mac is so unbelievably unprofessional that he hits me up at the very last minute when, logically speaking, he probably knew that I wasn't going to be able to clear my entire schedule for the next day to be able to do it. And then as soon as that happens, what does he do? He runs to YouTube to make videos exposing me because he's a fucking thirsty clout chaser. I would actually like to change his name to Thirsty Mac. I think we need to remove the China Mac from the situation, because there are a lot of great Chinese people out here, and I don't feel like this bum should be the representative of them.
China Mac, representative of the Chinese people, supposedly by his name China and the name China Mac. I mean, if we're going to use that type of analogy, you got to treat China Mac like one of those Chinese pandas. Basically, they look big, they look menacing, but they ain't really that much in terms of an intellectual capacity, right? They ain't like the dolphins you might see in an aquarium or a zoo where they're flipping around doing tricks. Being able to balance paws on their snouts, right? What are pandas really for? Because they look kind of cute, they look big, they're exotic, except they're not known for being very smart. So you gotta treat China Mac like a Chinese panda, which means you can't try to talk logic, you gotta be able to talk force. You gotta be able to talk as if you're approaching a Chinese panda. Except this time, China Mac, he don't deliver fortune cookies, because everywhere he goes, it's not fortune being delivered. It's a lot of nightmares. It's a lot of heartache. As you heard previously, a lot of scams. You can't trust a China Mac. If he's willing to do crazy stuff with person 1, 2, 3, 4, you might be next as person 5. So don't expect just because it's you and China Mac is going to be a little different.
But the fact that China Mac is using this as an opportunity to virtue signal against the 22 stir really rubs me the wrong way. And I feel like the fans, you're a little too good to be falling for this bullshit.
100,000 views in 10 hours. Listen, I'll be real.
Right.
If I'm him, I'm making that video.
His videos against me are getting so many more views than the vlogs that he was doing with Crip Mac, which puts it into perspective of like China Mac talking about me. I actually fully expect him to become a full-time Adam22 vlogger reaction channel now, because this is obviously like what's moving the needle for him. So I get it from that perspective. The problem is that nobody takes anything you say seriously because you're such a blatant clout chaser.
Blatant clout chaser. Maybe he's more of a dream chaser, because China Mac has always been trying to hit it big, right? He's always trying to produce something that will give him reach to his pipe dream. You see, the thing is like China Mac is like so many people out there, they're trying to be the next actor, actress. They're trying to be the next, singer, rapper, and they may work a random job like as a bartender, right? Because, it's one of those jobs where they can pick up randomly at an odd schedule so they can focus more on their art. Except I can't say China Mac's been producing any type of art that's worth consuming. Come on. We don't bump his songs. I don't know if he draws. He probably doesn't draw, right? Because the only thing he's drawing is basically himself into a corner with all this clout chasing.
And he's literally willing to do anything, fake anything, to get the attention, which he proved when he faked the fight for AD. And by the way, the reason why we all know that, Sus, I don't know if you were in the group chat when that actually happened, but AD hit the group chat and said, hey, this is so goofy. China Mac wants me to fake this fight. 2 days later, they're actually faking the fight. And I'm just like, what the fuck? And I tried to get AD to admit to it after that, but he never wanted to talk about it afterwards. He was hoping that we would all just kind of forget that he had proposed this idea in the chat. And it's just, I don't know.
Wait. Wow, that's crazy. So the fight was actually, okay.
The fight never happened. Do you seriously think that AD and China Mac were going to fight over the idea of who had the better food show? Like, why did anyone fall for this in the first place?
Wait, was there actual beef with the food show, or was that like fake too?
No, it was all fake.
Oh, that's
see, Josh knows. Josh
Can't
was
beef
around for
over
all
a
this
food
shit.
show. That's crazy.
Why would they beef over a food show? Number one, it's like the least creative idea ever. There's 5 million other food shows. And number two, like, it just doesn't make any sense. And it's still amazing to me because when anything happens, whenever you watch a fight on Twitter, you're thinking like, damn, is this fake? This seems kind of fake. Is this shit fake? We all have like heightened fake sensors, right? Why the fuck did nobody pick out the fact that this was fake? Why have I had to carry this shit around for 2 years knowing that shit was fake? That's all I'm saying.
China Mac, faking the fight. They do anything for clout. It's part of this new thing, what they call outrage marketing, where you see something that looks super crazy, but you found out either it was paid for, or it was something like that they faked it, right? It was a plot. It wasn't a real thing. Right now, it's hard to tell what's real and what's fake, especially remember that OnlyFans story where the dude was paying, I don't know, X amount of dollars to this person named Ruby Rose. Apparently, that was completely orchestrated, right? That was completely a plot done. It was a fake thing. It wasn't a real story, yet people fall for it. So the fact that China Mac was able to fool everyone, including myself, that they thought himself fighting AD was a real thing, and he went to China Mac went to multiple type of podcasts or shows to detail the fight, just shows the desperation. But here's the problem. When people find out that this thing is fake, they ain't gonna trust you with that type of situation or look for your services ever again.
Adam, you left out a very
Hell no.
integral part of your argument. I'm big on precedence. So I would just say, like me personally, I don't expect an employer to show up to a court or bail hearing 24 hours before on short notice. Even when I worked at FedEx, I didn't expect my supervisor or the owner of FedEx to come down to, if I was, knock on wood, to get into any legal trouble, to show up to my court hearing in 24-hour notice. Or at all, but definitely not 24-hour notice. But you failed to mention, like, Lyra Cohen didn't show up to the Young Thug trial. Lyra Cohen didn't show up to the Irv Gotti trial. Or Jimmy Iovine didn't show up to the Snoop Dogg case back in the 90s that we were just talking about. Dr. Dre didn't even show up to the Snoop Dogg case. Let's take it off race. Dr. Dre, who's also black, didn't show up to Snoop Dogg's trial in the 90s. That's why it was a whole issue before his departure from Death Row. So people are going to do what they want to do. That's why I said when I saw the clip on Twitter, I wasn't surprised and it didn't upset me because adults are going to do what adults want to do. If you don't want to go somewhere on a 24-hour notice, that's your prerogative as an adult. Was the clip entertaining? Sure.
Right.
But I wasn't. It didn't upset me because you're an adult. If you don't want to go on a 24-hour notice, you can't make it. That's up to you. That's your prerogative, in my opinion.
Right? It's like, what
I don't expect him to do that.
Yeah, right? It's like where do Adam like draw like the line between a really friendly boss and the homie, like hey, right? For example, dude, I think that Adam and let's say Calvin or Bassa were friends. Like, oh, okay, yeah, right,
Kelvin?
yeah, right. Do I think right that they were like friends? Probably not friends, right? But Adam is a friendly boss, right? So like, do you now have to like treat every employee as your best friend?
So I just want to clarify that for sure I wanted to go to this. Okay. And as soon as Lupe hit me up with a decent amount of runway to be able to plan it out, I said, yes, I definitely want to do it. Okay. It's not some shit where I'm like, no, anybody who works here at No Jumper is just an employee. I don't give a fuck about them. I'm not reaching out for them. I'm not doing anything.
Shit, you said you would bail me out if I went to jail.
I fucking bailed Brick Baby out the second he got his case.
Oh, that's crazy.
You know,
Josh already told my mom, you feel me? If something happened, you feel me? Call him and they gonna come get me.
Oh, damn. Well,
So
hey, listen.
I could attest to that they personally said they'll come get me. I'm not
you know
going
what
to
it
jail,
is?
though.
It's just like, I'm like the auto demon in these situations. I'm the person who's super easy to blame everything on.
No fair.
I don't know what track is calling me right now. It might not be the best time. But it's super easy to blame stuff on me. And then I have somebody like China Mac who has never run a business in his entire life, not to mention has never been successful at anything, has never had anything go his way in life. He pretty much transitioned directly from being a prisoner to being a Vlad character that went on his podcast. He fucked that opportunity up. So he started trying to manage Crip Mac. He started trying to start a trans record label for some reason. And as a result, now he's out here just projecting on me where I have so many things weighing on me, so many different employees that I want to keep working, so many different hosts that I want to keep on the channel, so many different interviews that I'm trying to grind out so that we can actually keep shit going financially and everything. And then I have somebody like China Mac who literally does not know the level of responsibility that it takes to run a lemonade stand. And he's out here making YouTube videos projecting on me. China Mac, You cannot talk about this. You have no room to speak on anything because you are no better than the homeless people living in the tents on the side of the fucking road. You have nothing going for you. Your schedule is clear today, tomorrow, and for the rest of time. You have nothing going on. That's why you have time to come up with ideas like starting a transgender record label or managing the 55th Street Baby Low Infant General, whatever. I'm sorry, I probably just fucked that up, but you know what I'm saying?
Baby Low Infant General.
This guy got infinite fucking time on his hands. And that's why he's able to make 3 YouTube videos about me in the last 24 hours because he's got nothing fucking going on.
Wow, I think Adam22 was inspired by who? DJ Academics, right? When DJ Academics put on the big act persona, he starts to act crazier. You see Adam22's acting crazier, right? He recently had what? Plastic surgery or some kind, not sorry, it was a hair transplant to basically artificially, I think, put hair from the back of his hair to the front. He might start injecting steroids and becoming some type of a Bane. I can see that Adam22 is going off on someone like a China Mac, but tomorrow it could be somebody else. China Mac being a culture vulture, I don't know. It seems like people seem to readily accept someone like a China Mac versus an Adam22 simply because they feel he's real. But what is so real about China Mac? Why is he named China Mac? In fact, China is supposed to represent, I guess, maybe his ancestry is from China. And Mac is supposed to represent, I think he was part of a gang in prison called the Mac Ballers, which is, from my understanding, I could be wrong, is some type of a blood set in New York. So is China Mac really genuine? Because he's taking a name from a particular gang, but apparently I don't believe he's ever represented the Mac Ballers. Maybe he was just a friend, an affiliate. But come on, it's like saying, I don't know, let's say your name is what? This gang, right? For example, your name is ASAP Rocky. What does it mean? You're part of a group called ASAP. If you call yourself ASAP Jones, but you're not part of that ASAP group, why do you call yourself ASAP? So I got to question China Mac's credibility. Why do you call yourself China Mac? Are you a member of the Mac Ballers gang, or you're simply, I don't know, a friend of it? Because to me, if you're putting as part of your name, it's more than just a friendship. It means membership. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, put a like and subscribe. Put a comment below if you got something to say about it. I'll see you all next time.